Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name's Dalton. Welcome back to another episode of Garage 99. I know it's been a while, but as you can see, or I don't know if you can notice, but we got an upgraded camera. This is a GoPro Hero 8 Black. We were using a GoPro Hero 3 Plus before. Huge upgrade, that's why it's been a while. I had to do the trade-up program to get a new camera, but enough about that. Today, we're working on my 1997 Miata. We just got a cage on it. I did a couple things ahead of time, but I'm gonna explain to you what we did. We got a Hard Dog roll bar, an M1 by Track Dog Racing. And I'm gonna run through real quick and tell you what I did on this car, the old car. First thing you wanna do is remove the seats. There are four 14mm bolts. If yours are plugged in, unplug them, pull the seats out, and then you're going to have these panels right here. So these are gonna be on your posts. They are going to have a 10mm and a little pop socket, and there's gonna be two screws in the top. You pull these four things out, detach your seat belts, and then you wanna pull that whole panel off. You wanna actually pull off the stripping piece as well so you can properly slide that out of there. You're gonna wanna pull the carpet underneath. There's gonna be a bunch of push pins all the way along there. Make sure you have a removing tool, which is gonna look like, it's gonna look like this. If you guys have one of those, otherwise you're gonna be breaking all of them, then you're gonna have to try and put everything back together and it's gonna suck, or you have to buy some new ones. So you wanna use one of these, pop them all out. Make sure you place them all on the side. You also wanna remove this bar. This is the B-pillar bar. Once you get all that removed, you're gonna see the silver panel under here. This one's still got the carpet on it, but I can show you this. This is the silver panel. It's got a bunch of 10mm bolts all over it. Hopefully, if your car isn't too beat up, yours isn't gonna be very rusty. This car's was, this one wasn't. This is the nicer one that I used. These are all 10mm bolts holding this thing in. All right here. So there's the push pins. These are the clips that I was talking about on the B-pillar posts. You're also gonna wanna remove the seat belts. So the top is a 10mm and the bottom is a 17mm. Make sure you don't lose that bolt. You're gonna reuse it when you put the roll bar in. Now that I'm all out of breath, we can finally get to the topic of today's. This is the roll bar. What you want to do if you install this, please install it with two people. I cannot stress that enough because I like to do things by myself and that's my problem. But please use two people. So when you're putting this thing in, as you can see, you're going to want to cut this top panel because your bar is going to sit far back into there. So I cut and kind of folded both sides of those panels. As you can see, it's still pretty loose. I was trying to put these back in because I am using seat belts. I will eventually go to a harnesses for the driver's seat, but not the passenger seat. So I want to put these back in, make sure I can still use them. These are holding the seat belt so it doesn't receive and get in my way. I had to unbolt the ECU because this bar goes behind the bracket for the ECU. So that's something else I gotta figure out. Since we do have those 17mm bolts in there, I think we're gonna tighten that back down. Also, when you're putting this bar back here, there's gonna be a lot of cords in your way using those plastic push pin clips. So you wanna, like I said before, use that clip piece, undo those clips, and make sure everything's free. You don't wanna pinch any wires or anything underneath your roll bar. You wanna make sure it's all around it. I made sure I pushed all of mine up so that way they were behind the roll bar. So even when I put the carpet back on, I won't see any unnecessary bulges anywhere. While you got this off, you could clean it up, I think. Okay, that's what I thought. That actually does go through to the trunk there. So if you wanted to clean all this stuff up, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we're gonna get back to it. All right, I finally got those two bolts in. I actually just put the soft top on just to make sure that it cleared and everything. I knew it would. I mean, they literally make it so that it'll clear, but it's pretty cool. It's really up in there. I don't think it'll be in the way either. And from the outside, you can barely even tell it's in there. So next thing you wanna do, jack the car up, take the wheels off, and then you're gonna wanna pull these fender liners out. It looks like there's a bunch of 10mm bolts holding the fender liner in. You gotta get to that metal underneath there. So we're gonna do that. Okay, once you pull the fender liner off, you're gonna wanna go inside. I'm gonna just make starting holes, probably on all the holes that I can get to as it is. And then I'm gonna put the backing plates on. So these are the backing plates mine came with. This is for the bottom holes on the front. They go on the inside underneath there. And these are for the back holes on the farther back arms that are gonna go down. So what I'm probably gonna do is pre-drill 2 of them, and then odds are the last one's gonna line up, so I'll use a smaller drill bit and kind of work my way up and then get the proper fitting for that. I wanna do the back holes first, so that way I can pull that bar as far back as possible, pull the tension off of it, and then mount the front ones. So I now have those brackets in. Those were a pain in the butt, but I'll tell you what the easiest way to do is. Get 1 bolt lined up. In fact, there's only gonna be 3 of them. The back one toward the back of the car is going to actually have a drain hole above it, which is like a rubber grommet. That one's the easiest to drill through. And it also will help you line up the other 2. So when you get that one, you get the bracket on the bottom and top, take your nut and bolt, line it up with the other 2 holes, and then basically you can drill straight through. Use a smaller drill bit than what you'll need, and you'll basically be able to line it up, so that way you can line the rest of the holes up on the outside of the car instead of the inside of the car. It's really hard to get around in there. If you guys couldn't already tell, or if you have these cars, you know, but it's super hard to get in there. Those are the 3 bolts. It is a lot of work. I need that wrench. Don't want to lose that. But yeah, so okay, those are done. Now I gotta do these 3 and those 3, and this thing will be secured. I could probably put the top down now. All right, we'll do the next 6, and then I'm gonna show you what to do after that. These are all torqued down. My torque wrench will basically do 200 foot-pounds, so that's about all they are. But, I mean, this thing's solid. I do have to run to the store and get some sealant to go around this to keep everything waterproof for the most part. I will actually do that to the bottom first, and then put these wheel liners back in and the wheels back in. This is Flex Shot. I got it from Lowe's. It's like $10 or $12 for a tube, but this is some pretty good stuff, really easy to use. You don't need a caulk gun or nothing, so if you want to do something real quick, basically just apply it around the nuts, bolts, and all right, we've got the fender liners back on. Just vacuumed up all the metal shrapnel and everything that we had down there. Next thing you want to do is fasten the seat belts onto the B pillar with the 10mm bolt on the top. Make sure the 17mm is tight on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum this all out, and then you want to cut your parcel shelf cover so it'll fit around the other posts of the roll cage. Okay, and then once you get that pre-cut, go ahead and reinstall this panel with all the 10mm bolts that came with it. Okay, you're also going to want to do the same thing with the carpet. There's the foam pieces underneath it, and then there's like a sound deadening material along with the top piece of carpet. You're going to want to do your best and try to cut it around the roll cage. It's pretty difficult. I didn't do a very good job on the Nissan, and I don't think I did the best job on this. I did my best though. After that, you're going to want to trim these plastic pieces to properly fit on your B pillars. I have been working on the driver's side for quite a while. The biggest thing, you're going to want to cut the inside down here where it goes around this plate. I can show you the driver's side. It may look good on camera. It's okay. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look that great. I still have to pull this off one more time to trim that bottom piece. I'm probably going to be using some like weather stripping or something, or some like finishing material to have it look more finished, I guess. Okay, making some good progress here. I obviously got the back piece of carpet in. I got all the finishing pieces on with all the hardware. Piece of advice for those wondering: when you're trimming this panel, literally just trim out this little box right here around that. You can see where the bottom of this thing comes. Literally keep trimming off that way up until you almost get to where it is the 90-degree angle. Trim down about 3 inches and then trim around it. It'll fit really nice. This panel looks really good compared to the other one. I don't think I'm gonna trim this carpet unless this seems to be some sort of an issue when I put the seats in. But for me to have to trim out that little piece and hack it all up when it kind of covers everything for the most part, I think I'm just gonna keep it in there. I mean, it protects all the plates and everything that are down there. So yeah, that looks really good. Now I'm gonna put the seats in and we'll see how that goes. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, that is an install. Everything fits really good. Got all our stuff back together. Seats fit good. I sat in it. I mean, I'm comfortable. I see some clearance issues I'm about to deal with, but I'll deal with that another time. Just glad I got it all installed. It looks pretty factory. I mean, nothing really looks any different on the interior as far as, you know, that goes. I'm gonna clean it up. I gotta take some of the stuff off. I'm gonna give it a nice polish and whatnot, but that's gonna conclude today's video, guys. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Peace out. Keep turning those gears.